What if I told you there's a love that can leave everything behind, that can lose itself in search of what was lost? A love that never tires, that never gives up, that celebrates the reunion with a feast. This is the story of the lost sheep, a parable that reveals the nature of God's love for you. Have you ever felt lost, like you were distant from God? The parable of the lost sheep shows us that even in our moments of straying, God never gives up on us. He seeks us with love and compassion, and His joy is immense when He finds us again. In this video, we will delve into the profound meaning of this story and understand how it can transform your life. Get ready to be touched by the compassion and infinite love of God. A love that awaits you with open arms, ready to embrace and restore you. In a world where the relentless pursuit of validation and success can lead us down a path of loneliness and despair, the parable of the lost sheep offers us a refuge of hope and unconditional love. The story of the shepherd who leaves 99 safe sheep to search for the one lost invites us to question how we view our own flaws and those of others. Many times, we find ourselves trapped in the logic of meritocracy, judging and condemning those who stray from the path, forgetting about compassion and forgiveness. The parable shows us that God's love is not based on our merits, but on His infinite mercy. He loves us unconditionally, and He is always ready to welcome us back, regardless of our mistakes. This is the essence of the parable, a love that never tires of seeking what has been lost. In this video, we will unravel the profound meaning of the parable of the lost sheep and how it can transform your way of seeing the world and your relationships. We will explore the importance of seeking forgiveness, the need to love without reservation, and the beauty of redemption. Get ready to discover the transformative power of God's love and how it can lead you back to the path of peace and joy. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that inspires you to seek God's love and live a more fulfilling life. Share your thoughts on the parable of the lost sheep in the comments and keep following to discover how God's love can transform your life. The parable of the lost sheep, told by Jesus in the Gospel of Luke, is one of the most moving and impactful stories about God's love. It reveals to us the profound and unconditional nature of divine love, which never tires of seeking what has been lost. Imagine a shepherd with 100 sheep. One of them strays from the flock and gets lost in unfamiliar territory. The shepherd, instead of focusing on the 99 safe sheep, leaves everything behind and goes out in search of the lost sheep. This search represents God's love for each of us. He doesn't abandon us when we make mistakes, but goes after us, compassionate and ready to welcome us back. The parable invites us to rethink our view of love and forgiveness. In a world that often values success and perfection, we can become rigid and intolerant of the flaws of others and our own. The parable of the lost sheep teaches us that God's love is not based on our merits, but on His infinite mercy. He loves us despite our imperfections and seeks us with a love that transcends any limit. To apply the parable of the lost sheep to our lives, we can start by acknowledging our own need for forgiveness and love. We all make mistakes and stray from the path, but God is always ready to welcome us back. We can cultivate an attitude of compassion and forgiveness towards ourselves and others, remembering that we are all lost sheep in search of unconditional love. In addition, we can seek to express God's love in the world, reaching out to those who feel lost and offering comfort and hope to those who are seeking refuge. While the parable of the lost sheep inspires us to seek God's love and love without reservation, we may encounter some challenges. On our journey, the tendency to judge and condemn is a reality that accompanies us, and the lack of understanding about God's unconditional love can lead us to feel unworthy of His love. To overcome these obstacles, it is essential to cultivate humility, acknowledging our own fragility and need for God. We must seek to deepen our knowledge of God's love through prayer, Bible study, and fellowship with other Christians. Remember that God's love is a free gift and that He is always willing to forgive and restore us. The parable of the lost sheep invites us to a profound inner transformation. It reveals that God's love is a love that forgives, restores, and embraces. When we acknowledge our need for God and open ourselves to His love, we experience a joy and peace that transcends any human understanding. The parable invites us to live a life of compassion, forgiveness, and love, reflecting God's love in all that we do. The parable of the lost sheep, besides its poetic beauty, has a profound psychological impact. A study published in the Journal of Psychology and Theology in 2018 analyzed the influence of biblical stories on reducing anxiety and stress. The results indicated that reading and reflecting on parables like the lost sheep can promote feelings of peace, hope, and security, contributing to the reduction of cortisol levels, the stress hormone. Psychologist and theologian Dr. Maria Clara Santos, a specialist in psychology of faith, states that the parable of the lost sheep invites us to rethink how we deal with error and failure, both in ourselves and in others. The central message of the parable is that God's love is unconditional and that He seeks us with compassion and forgiveness, regardless of our flaws. She emphasizes that understanding the parable can contribute to improved self-esteem and interpersonal relationships, promoting a more compassionate and forgiving attitude. To experience the transformation that the parable of the lost sheep proposes, we can adopt some practices. By putting these steps into practice, we will experience the transformation of God's love in our lives and be able to reflect that love in the world around us. The parable of the lost sheep invites us to live a life of love, forgiveness, and compassion, reflecting God's mercy in all our actions. By cultivating prayer, practicing forgiveness, developing compassion, and serving others, we open our hearts to the transformation of divine love. Remember that God's love is a free gift and that He is always ready to welcome us back, regardless of our flaws. This inner transformation impels us to seek a deeper relationship with God and to connect with those around us. The parable teaches us that true love is not based on conditions or merits, but on unconditional surrender. It invites us to look at others with compassion, understanding that we are all lost sheep in search of a love that restores us and leads us back to the path of peace and joy. 2. Deepen your knowledge of the parable of the lost sheep and other biblical teachings. I invite you to watch the next videos on the channel. Subscribe to receive notifications of new content and share your thoughts in the comments. May the message of the lost sheep illuminate your journey and lead you to a life full of love and peace.